Hey everyone, and welcome to vlog session 21 of Dragon Age Ascension.
Three of us have ascended now.
Yeah.
Well, we can choose to go on to the next step, essentially.
We either become demigods or full-fledged gods, which, I don't know, that's...
Well, no, isn't
No,
the
you'll be
moving
demigod,
up to demigod if you pass and if you choose to keep after you pass?
So the idea is that you can achieve demigodhood if you pass the trial, and then after that, at some point, it is implied based on the prophecy. At some point, you will be given the ability, perhaps, to fully ascend into godhood if you wish.
Yeah.
And who knows if anything that Daretham dreamed holds true to that. Who knows if that comes with anything?
I had some doubts.
I'm so ready for it to be the exact opposite of how Daretham saw.
Oh no!
I mean, to be honest, like to just jump into the dream. First off, that was awesome, Hark. I love that. And second, it's interesting because Daretham is an optimistic person. He is hopeful, and he just didn't really see being a god, like what that potentially could give as a bonus. But then kind of seeing that as like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. And he certainly did not like the kneeling or the statues, or he was just like, no, none of that, no. But the ability to help, all that, was definitely appealing to him. So he's like, I think I need to try. I think I need to try doing this.
Is it bad that I see Daretham as the guy where he's like, look, I'm not a god. I'm just a being that's completely superior to you and has all of this stuff that you don't.
It's like the life of Brian. I'm not the Messiah. That's exactly what the Messiah would say.
It's like the Lady of Pain in D&D, where she's got godlike powers, but if you worship her, she immediately destroys you from the cosmos. You're just gone.
Though it is funny, I do think the one thing that he will do is he won't make himself smoking ass sexy. Like instead, he'll just be like, he'll just be normal self.
That's probably just like once you pass through the gate, it happens.
It happens. I was gonna take a guess. I was just gonna take a guess. I was like, oh, there's he turns into Amron. Okay, it just has to go smoking. No.
Legit, when that scene started up, I legitimately thought Darren had screwed Daretham to death. I was like, this is how our first character dies. Darren did this.
It's Succubus death, you know? Succubus death, you know?
She's really been in wait this whole campaign.
I got that. Yeah, lots of men. My how long did it take to do all this lore? A lot of stuff.
I did it all within like 48 hours after Hark first messaged me, and then it's been sitting in a notebook for months.
Yep, that sounds like me world building.
That's a lot of work. That's gotta be a lot of work, man.
But no, Mike, it's great. It's like
it's
very
awesome.
rich. I love all the details. I wish we could linger for more than a session and a half in the Chi Isles. But from what you described, it seems like a really cool place.
It's cool. I am having a blast. And definitely a hell of a lot more screen time than last time I was here. But yeah, I've been having a blast, and I'm glad you guys have liked what I put forward.
It's been good. It's been really good.
It's been fun, man.
Well. But
it was a really good use of the what's the word I'm looking for? Obscure lore. Like it was so obscure to where you had so much freedom in writing it to where you could make it into this and it worked.
It does tie in pretty well, like with everything that the Hark Dragon Age verse has been set up and built up. It fits in very well.
That was really my main goal, was to keep it as lore friendly as possible. Even though it was a completely all new stuff, I was trying to keep it as close to as I could.
Yeah, you put it like as close as you can to the set, to not just like the setting that's currently been here and from the 2 seasons and actually this current season also, but with like the past and all that. You kept everything like there. Like there's some of those holes that we know have somewhat been filled. So like I had a theory, like when you explained the whole Draconis thing, I had a theory that what if Draconis became the Maker when he went to when he went to the Golden City?
Who knows?
Who knows? Like that's. So,
Guess we'll find out if we become gods.
yeah.
All Draconis knows is that his father said he was going to the Golden City, and when his mother went there, he was either passed or had ascended to something else.
And I was like, oh, maybe he ascended to make the Maker. Who knows? That's. But no, you did enough so you can give us those ideas. So which is cool.
Thank you. And yeah, I love that I was prepared with the mask.
That's a really cool.
That was fun. That was good.
And the voice that you did was very, very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was a lot of prep work. As I've said to Hark, last time I appeared in his campaign, I felt vastly unprepared. So this time I was like, no, I'm getting everything I can prepared ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked the whole story with Draconis and his mom or his wife, Draconis's wife, weeping and trying to go into the other city, the Golden City, to look for Draconis. Like that's all Mike. That's all came from Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that sounds great. Let's do that. And it fit really well with what I had set up for the dragon chakra, like fire dragonflies. So I was like, yeah, that works perfectly well. So
yeah, it fit in excellently.
Yeah.
I figured if I'm going to be basically representing an entire culture for this game, then I'd have to make it as fleshed out as I could, and I hope I did that.
Yeah, no, you did. You did.
So Pasha is a mage.
Again, can you say Sarabas?
Part of me wants to know. I want a clip of Luke's reaction, realizing, wait a minute, memory. Why can't I do this, Pasha? Like I want his reaction.
We can do that. We can do that. I think.
Wait, so Luke can't do his.
He lost his seer ability. That was what the crit was.
Because Luke critically failed. And so I was like,
God.
How can I make this because when you critically fail, like the primary person who should get the butt end of the fail should be Luke, because he was the one who actually rolled it. So then I was like, well, okay, so I think I'll just take away Luke's seeing ability and maybe like give it to Pasha, but then that also is kind of a bad thing for Pasha too, because she doesn't like the whole magic thing. So this is perfect, because
that's the thing of magic, and that solidifies Pasha's.
Yeah, I love how that worked out, because normally it would be, well, Luke loses something and another character gains something, but I'm like, but do they really gain? Does Pasha really gain something from this? Well, yes, out of character.
She gains emotional distress.
Yeah,
she gains emotional distress, but like looking at this completely unbiased, having an ability to read objects is crazy useful. It
has its uses, but also like anytime you have to touch something, it becomes like
you need those gloves.
I like the Elsa rogue Elsa solution.
Mm-hmm. Literally, when as soon as Gremlin Mike was like, "There are gloves," my brain.
Oh.
Okay. No. Why?
What?
Last thing we heard.
As soon as there were gloves, my brain just got out.
Literally, my brain You okay? You okay, internet? There we go. My brain started parodying Let It Go. Just keep it in. Don't let them know.
Yes.
Just what was, oh God. Don't let the cute see. Like,
Yes. Yes.
Fun side note, if Pasha had not been wearing her gloves when she rang the bell, she would have gotten a flashback of a young Daztrul completing this challenge.
I like to imagine that alternate timeline where she dings it, has the flashback and goes, ah, and just like tosses the hammer out into the ocean. No!
We were gonna give you the medal, but now you threw our hammer away.
Our sacred instrument.
Back into prison.
Yeah, that had escalated so quickly.
The other thing
was
that's
amazing.
extremely interesting with Pasha getting the whole like seeing objects is this really does F up her plans pretty greatly in what she was gonna do.
So the question, what should she do now? Like, is she gonna return back? Does she have doubts?
Pasha has no doubts. Pasha knows the path. She just has to walk it. Pasha has plans. That's what I'm gonna say.
So the other part is, when is Luke coming into the book to track Pasha down? Like,
Well, he's probably going to be without it till Endgame now. Realistically speaking,
pretty much.
If Pasha decides she likes this ability, then he might never get it back.
That's true. It's a really cool ability.
Yeah. Plus, it's magic, but it's not like overt magic. So
if Pasha goes back to being Tamazaran, I could see like her, maybe one of the kids. She has suspicious like, Rupert, what did you do? Nothing. What did you do? Give me your hand. You did such and such. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Pretty cool power just to know who's lying.
OP mom
Power of
ability
mom
right
vision.
there.
Mom vision. I know what you did.
Speaking of people getting magic now.
Speaking of people getting magic, Tyrion's got a gift.
Yes, now I can be anyone.
Which hoop
or
is
anything.
that?
That's the Gemini.
Gemini.
Correctly.
Gemini hoop. Because so Brandon he messaged me, like I said, and he said he doesn't really know which hoop he gave to Luke, so he said just pick one. Because the only other hoop that he had was I think it was Virgo, if I remember correctly, and it was the telepathic hoop. But you guys already have sort of like the chakra speak. Mm-hmm. So I thought I don't want to like double up on that. So I thought the Gemini hoop's probably like more of an interesting hoop for you guys to have. Mm-hmm. And the fact that your rogue has it, I think, is useful. But it doesn't have to stay with Tyrion. It could be.
It doesn't have to stay with me, but I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah.
For now, at least, unless I have to give it to someone else, so I can tell them how to work.
Transforming into not only people but objects sentient objects, is really awesome for rogue.
Wait a minute. If Tyrion transforms into an object and Pasha touches him, does she get his entire life story?
I mean, I think she can just touch Tyrion's shoulder now and get his life story.
Like it's not like an object story; it's just touch. No, okay, got it.
She can touch people too and find out like glimpses into their history.
So Tyrion, at some point, Leon's going to have to take that from you and bump up his thesis with, we've studied plants from the outside.
I'm gonna throw you back into the circle and just say, here.
This totally isn't to stop me from getting sent back to the circle. That's not what I'm gonna use.
What? How else to
you can ascend to godhood. You can just ascend to the god, and then you become your own god. Well, there you go.
I guess I'll have to be the god of plants then.
Oh, I'd like to see that scene. Kevin's character, whose name my brain has just deleted. What is Cedric? Thank you. Cedric's just like, Leon, come back to the circle. We've got Templars surrounding the buildings. You can't leave. And Leon just goes, no, and like ascends through a window just into the sky. Nope.
And just like, I'm a god, motherfucker.
I hope I did. Man, I hope that. Yeah, but just doing that whole scene was that was just turning 3D and then suddenly just turning to Darren. And that was
By the way,
random.
good effort on the voice, I'll say still.
Oh, thank
good
you.
effort on the voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, when Skull started doing the Daretham voice, I was like, oh, this is hilarious.
I was like,
yes, I sometimes.
I very much approve.
Thank you very much, other me.
Two
but that was. I literally rolled a D4, like, and I just tracked like based on who was on the sheet, and I rolled a 4, and the last one on me was that was Tom.
Who were the other ones on the sheet? Then I'm curious.
No, it was all of you guys. Any one of you. I was choosing between one of you guys. It's like, fuck it, let's make a random roll, and
you're Daretham. I love it.
I rolled 4 on Daretham, so yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It would have been cool if I turned to anyone else.
I liked when Tyrion asked Darren, "Oh, what kind of tree would you turn into?" And mentally went, $10. She says a sexy tree, and she went an aesthetically pleasing tree, and I was like, called it.
Yeah, aesthetically pleasing tree.
She's gonna say something like that. Of course, you want a sexy tree.
Yes, of course. There's a lot of sexy trees out there. So what is it?
So Darren can grind on.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Oh.
Apologies. Anyway.
So what would have? So here's a question: If you had this hoop, like with you when you came back to Tevinter for the whole Amerin like scene, would you have used the hoop in some way?
Ooh, that was
during the whole Amerin thing.
If I would be honest, possibly.
You could have turned into a Marin and like
you could have turned into Marin.
Yeah, he could have done the whole double switch where I'm a Marin now, and he would have he knows Amarin well enough.
And then just out yourself and like just be like, and then just escape. Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I've done it. I've tried doing it once. I've done it with a previous game where I did sort of the same thing. I killed like a leader, and I became the leader for a bit. Then I had to run away. But yeah, no, it would have been cool if I could do that, but the hoop wasn't there yet. So.
You know, there's an even funnier solution to that problem, is that you turn into Pasha and go on the date with a Marin and do the ultimate backstab.
That would be amazing.
It would have been cool. Love that. Yeah, it would have been cool, but then he's he's dead now.
Tyrion, you should inform a Marin about your ability to transform into any object. Oh, not a Marin, Master Ignaldo. Master Ignaldo with your ability. Money.
I just turned into like a $1.
You are, yeah.
I'll turn into a gold coin.
The elf who can transform into any object known to man. Yes.
I mean, it's gonna be useful if Tyrion is like somewhat like chaotic. If he gets thrown to prison, just turns into a bowl or something like that. And like the guard's like, where is he? Take the ball away, then he just escapes prison.
Did Tyrion ever figure out about tanks in the Wizarding World? Just out of curiosity, I don't think tanks ever became a thing.
We talked about it, but
we talked about tanks.
There was the talk about then you, Harker, like you can F things up as much as you want to, and the conversation got dropped there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I guess Tyrion can't turn himself into a tank. Yeah, I don't think Tyrion can turn into himself.
I mean, I don't know. I could turn into anything. So whatever it is, maybe there's an airship.
You could turn into a lawnmower.
That's true.
The most deadliest of weapons.
House, shack.
You could turn into another dragon.
True. I just don't.
You could turn into like a huge, like an actual high.
Yeah, but like, so statistically, would I still have certain stats, or is it just an illusion of sorts, or is it actual transmutation?
It's more of an illusion. So what I would say is you could transform into a tank, but because it's so complex, like you wouldn't be able to like shoot anything because that's like there's so many things involved within a tank internally. Like that's
it's good for
you would
camouflage.
only visually you would just visually look like a tank.
Yeah, visually camouflage is good, but not actually like I can shoot.
And like it also depends on like the how many chakra points you spend.
Yeah.
So if you want to transform into something that is significantly larger than you, it's going to take more chakra points.
Yeah.
And probably not last as long.
No, that's not
also, my thoughts immediately went to, we can copy Cepheus and have you appear as Cepheus.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. You have to help me with that, or let
No,
you
we've
to
seen
help.
him. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
we've
mean,
seen
because
him.
the last time we saw Cepheus, he was as Daniel.
Yeah.
So if we were able to fool the other magisters with that like initial ploy, that could give us a sneak attack.
Yeah, we could good plan, but we'll have to see. Tyrion has not yet shared the hoop with everyone, so we'll
That's
probably
true.
next or the week after.
That's true. Only 2 people know about the hoop.
Yeah.
I did find that funny where everyone earlier in the session everyone's like, let's be transparent, let's be completely honest, and then Tyrion's like, let's keep secrets.
I mean, it's a hoop. If I can just turn to people, if you want to go prankster for a bit, but yeah, we'll see.
Join me, Tyrion. Keep secrets. It works out well all the time.
I'm sorry, who got laid?
You could turn yourself into a book and relate to Pyrrhus.
I've become Pyrrhus 2.0.
There you go. Yes, you can become an actual cookbook. There you go.
Yes, a cookbook about how to make
herring pie.
Herring pie.
Recipe effectiveness may vary.
Yeah.
Except all his recipes are crime.
Okay, good. Go back to your burning house.
Though I will say, I'm surprised that everybody took godhood or took the trial option. I mean, Leon was already there, obviously. I was really expecting Darethum to not do it because, like, I do not see Darethum wanting to be a god. Like, that is not appealing in any way to him. But that dream, especially the idea of wanting to help, that was definitely.
That's why I gave you that dream and not anybody else, because I thought you would be the least likely.
Here's a dichotomy in terms of like the thing is, we can just do these trials and then we can still choose if we want to continue or not. Technically,
you can. True,
but yeah, I mean, at least for Tyrion's side, like he was unsure until he spoke to both. Actually, spoke to Dasrul, because he was still like he wasn't super uncertain. He just needs almost clarity. And I had to thank Albion also for helping me out. I did a secret chat with him, and he talked about and there was the good person line that I told to Balm. He told me that. He asked me like, "Are you do you think you're a good person?" I was like, "Somewhat." And
yes.
Yeah, and I do believe, and yeah, Tyrion does believe he's a good person, to a certain degree. So yeah.
I really loved the argument between Daz-Trul and Pasha.
Yes.
Like, I loved.
Yes.
I am so happy that Mike did not back down. I'm so happy that he was like, no, I'm maintaining my authority. I'm standing put.
That was the Pasha Tyrion argument, but better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I work retail. I could not resist the urge for management to shut down the Karen.
Yes. I loved that.
I'm so sorry, Mike. I am so sorry, but I was like, I can't not take this opportunity.
It's quite all right.
I loved it because nobody really had challenged Pasha, not to that degree.
Not to that
degree.
When
it finally happened, I was like, oh, yes, thank you.
There we go. Someone that struck her up.
Yes.
So I have a question. Go ahead.
I mean, you gotta see it from his point of view. This woman's complete stranger comes to his land and is about to try and tell him how to run things? No way.
Well, we all know those Pasha being her Karen self.
Yeah, that was Pasha. Yeah, not thinking straight.
Yeah.
I will say that from Pasha's perspective, she did win the argument, just because in her mind, this is like the Kossith and the Scale ones were savages. You know, they can't engage in debate. They resort to yelling as soon as someone comes at them with like a legitimate concern. Like from her, like I get that is a warped perspective. She is a Karen. She is a Karen.
Because it's like, because there's the whole etiquette thing of like, look, if you're in my land, you can do whatever, but not like you have limits.
Yes.
That's the
As Rasul said, she thought she had more rights than she did.
Yeah, you had more rights than you think, but that's if it's a different story. Depending, you have rights to be here. It's the right of hospitality, but you have limits of hospitality.
All I was gonna say is I also really loved the role playing with Rousseau and Daz Truel, and really to I forgot who else he was role playing with when he was mentioning empty words. Was it Nathan?
Yeah, it was Nathan.
Yeah.
Like he was venting
Like,
and had to go be alone.
I really like that a lot. Really, really like that a lot with Rousseau.
Yeah, I'm curious. It would have never happened because that's just not how I play. But what would have happened if he had gone to like put a hand on you or anything? Because you had mentioned something.
Well, that's why I asked, because if you did, like, I kind of saw Russo at the point of where he would have just flipped out and been like, don't effing touch me.
Okay, yeah, no. I personally, I am a very strong believer of consent. So, yeah, he wouldn't have just touched you. Seeing that you are distressed, you are not someone that he is particularly knowing of, so he would have not done that.
Pretty much the reason that I roleplayed Russo, unfortunately being kind of a jerk to all the other skilled ones, was he's kind of been going through a lot the whole campaign, and no one's really properly consoled him about it other than like, hey, I'm here for you, or you can get over this. So by the time we got there, and then it's like, oh, well, you have this family. Well, I've already had a family up and leave on me, so like you're really not convincing me. And then he's also having to deal with Pasha leaving again to go get wiped and all the other stuff, to where it's like, I'm just alone with this. Leave me alone because you're not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable, but he had to say something. The way that he felt your anxiety and distress over what he said, he had to say something.
Mike and I had passing thoughts when we were talking about you being taken as an egg. We had passing thoughts that Mike's character could be your biological father, but we felt that was going to be too cliche.
Yeah.
And so we decided against the clichéness of it, because I feel like we've already done I am your father, because we did that already with Tyrion already, and so I didn't want to do it again. So,
technically, yeah, but I don't see my father with the whole thing as a cliche, because it was more like it was him finding his dad like, oh, he's a tranquil. I think it was maybe different. So
yeah. But I guess I'm curious, had that been the case, and that Daz Truel was biologically Russo's father, would that whole thing have played differently?
Russo probably would have been more hostile and just shut him down, because it's like, I'm pretty much 30 now, like, I've got my own kid, I'm settling, doing all this other stuff. You guys obviously gave up after not that long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then on the other question is, if the biological parents were still alive, would you have gone to see them, or would you just do everything you could to just not see them at all?
Here's the thing is, like, I don't see Russo seeing himself as a scaled one. Like, he's accepted the baggage that comes with it, but he feels he didn't grow up in the culture. He doesn't really have like the extreme physical features of the scaled ones. It's like think about like someone who finds a long lost family then chooses not to be with them, was how I saw Russo being.
Mm.
Because at that point, it's like, I'm too invested with what I'm doing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's basically where Daz Truel was coming from. It's like, I'm not saying you have to accept us. I'm just saying we are here if you wish to know us.
Yeah, and it went neutral enough to where I could see Russo coming back to the islands once or twice with Violetta and Balin, just to see like if there is anything, but there's gonna be friction for a while.
Understandable.
Yeah, because when we first approached in the throne room, it sounded slightly like, "Oh, hey, you're one of us. Now you're never going to leave."
Yeah. Oh no.
Well, that and then it was like, "Oh, and your mom like kidnapped you. Like, thanks."
I mean, in reality, that is what happened.
Yeah. It's not like you were wrong. It's just like it's bad news for anyone.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
it's still bad.
He's just laying out the facts of the past.
Yeah. And I'm slightly surprised that there wasn't like a cultural backlash of, "Oh, you were deformed by magic," because it was blood magic that changed Russo.
Right, because he's not just a Gothic; he's half Gothic, half elf.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. I mean, there's you know what they say, you know how some people would say the truth can hurt sometimes. But has been laid out.
I will say the thing that's been the most tragic for Russo is that he's pretty much lost almost all of his like
hard works.
No, not hard work. Basically the vision that he had of his mother going through all of this.
Yeah.
Because like at first it was like she died, I was left alone, wasn't her fault, I respected that. Then he found out like, oh, she hid this from me. She told Corin, she couldn't tell her husband, she kidnapped me.
Yeah.
It's like it's going a downward spiral.
I mean, to be fair, Leon kind of is going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So, although we did find that Leon's found the truth of what happened with his parents and Sir Garrison, the truth.
And I mean,
so
yeah. Well, we know. Well, he knows one false. The false. I know the truth.
You know the truth.
I know the truth, and I haven't told anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
one thing I don't quite understand is why Russo's mom told Corin, but not Russo. I mean, I would assume, from a parental standpoint, that they would want to tell their.
It's more because Corin was old enough that he knows that his mom was not that their mom wasn't pregnant. Like he was old enough to understand that's how that works, and so for Russo to suddenly appear, like, I think that she could have gone with the idea, oh, this baby was found on our doorstep, but she also had to like align that with what she told the husband, which was, she like slept with this other person. Because for the longest time, Russo thought that like she had been with another person, and that's how he was born, which is why he had the Kossith features and not elf, because the husband was an elf. And so she knew that was not going to go over. That was not a good enough explanation for Corin, because Corin was there the whole time. The whole reason why Russo's dad thought that was a possibility, because Russo's dad was away and wasn't there when she got pregnant and had this child. He was gone for that long. And so Corin, he was there the whole time, so she can't use the same excuse. So she had to give him an explanation, and so she just told him that.
So when he got old enough to realize something was up, that's when she caved.
Pretty much, because there are certainly things that didn't add up. And I think that, we never really addressed it, but it could be she asked Corin not to say anything, or Corin decided that he wasn't going to say anything like for himself, because maybe he thought that was the nicer thing to do. Because, I don't know.
Question, was that what he was about to say in session 1 when they had that whole heart-to-heart on the doorsteps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So interesting cultural note. If what happened in the past had not happened, and Russo had successfully hatched on the Chi Islands, he would have been Kossith, and technically he would have had only one parent. The the Dragokin are able to do that funky little reptile thing where they can switch their gender to produce an offspring.
That's interesting.
I actually caught that because you were like your loss
he.
to him was too
him.
much.
Yes.
Right.
Tired, yeah.
I thought that was really cool and interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought that was an interesting little cultural note.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
This little session was just a lot of really cool RP moments. Just after.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Anything else before we close?
The trials.
What did you say,
No,
Skull?
the trials. The trials.
Yeah, I enjoyed. Well, I enjoyed Russo's as well as Pasha's for different reasons.
Yes.
Okay, so the Cult of Steve, aka Steve, God of Biscuits, as in cookies. My friend was creating his own little campaign. It was very silly. I'm gonna put that in right there. It was a silly campaign. It was not serious. And he asked us, the players, to come up with gods. And he should have known better because, of course, we were going to come up with stupid stuff. Hence why we weren't being dicks. It was silly. Basically, the god I came up with, Steve, God of Biscuits, he's kind of like this world's Santa in that to good boys and girls, he delivers delicious baked goods. And to bad boys and girls, he gives dead parents. However, not their own dead parents. Someone else's dead parents. So basically, little Timmy, who's been telling lies and stuff, just one day wakes up and there are 2 corpses at the end of his bed. And his parents come in and say, Timmy, we told you about that lying. And elsewhere, Johnny, who's a good little kid, wakes up and there's just a mountain of biscuits. And he knows that he is now an orphan. That is the Cult of Steve. We are always accepting new members. Please come and join the Cult of Steve. Thank you.
I love how Hark's reaction stays the same every time he hears this story.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And this is why we don't give control of a campaign to Callista. This is why we don't do
players
that.
do come up with interesting ideas, quote unquote.
But Callista, how do you what benefits do you get from worshiping Steve? Do you get protected from dead parents or
No, you get biscuits.
You get biscuits.
That is
I think
the
that's
Cult of Steve.
moral.
It doesn't matter if you worship him or not. Just don't be naughty. Don't be bad. Don't live with the risk of dead parents.
So this
What
is
if the
a
parents are already
purely
dead? What's the threat then?
child-centric God then? 'Cause
Can't say that again, Mike.
is this a purely child-centric God then? Because there is absolutely no incentive for the parents, for adults.
I think if you're still bad, you can still wake up and there are dead parents at the foot of your bed. But then you have to deal with your spouse being like, "What the hell is this? What have you been doing?" And then it's that stress of like having to explain to them, "No, this is just a mistake. I swear."
Now, how about the flip of that when it's a good adult, but they've already have dead parents? Just no cookies?
They get cookies. They get cookies.
Oh, yay.
If you're already an orphan, then you're kind of in a win-win situation, really.
Awesome.
Win-win situation.
So is being a parent like a death sentence? You're like, oh no.
Attention.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You have a kid, it's like my life could potentially be over if people
better hope for one badass kid.
But that'd be like, I'm saying getting at this Steve the God of Biscuits is not a real thing because there'd be a lot of corpses being dumped into the graveyard. Yes.